welcome to episode 150 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast. Today we have me, Taco.
Jason with Concealment Solutions.
And hi, folks. I'm John, Officer John, from a podcast not long ago. I'm glad to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you. Okay, sponsors. NOE Bullet Molds at noebulletmolds.com. The best bullet molds out there. If you're into reloading, you ought to consider to start casting. Even if you're not casting, NOE's got Dillon presses, Lee presses, and other stuff to help you with your reloading.
So, I was there recently. I'll talk a little bit. I'll expand upon that when we cover what we do with guns. But I will say, I did show Al a few things about Instagram, so he has a couple new Instagram posts, and one of them features new linkage arms for the little tiny Lee press.
Okay.
You know, the one that it's pretty good for sizing bullets, but not much else because it's that little tiny one, right?
Yeah, okay.
So that one, he built some new linkage so that you can actually get a full swing while sizing bullets using the push-through sizing dies.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice that way.
So he's improved on the Lee press.
Yes.
Excellent.
So you can check that out on his website or on his Instagram.
Ooh, Al's getting fancy on us.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the discount code?
FLT001, save you 10%.
On top of any other discounts you might already qualify for.
Exactly.
Awesome. Utah Air Guns. UtahAirGuns.com. They're doing 12 days, I think, or was it 25 days, something like that, of Black Friday. So every day they have a new special deal. So if you aren't following them on Instagram and Facebook, if you're not getting their emails, you ought to pay attention because there's some really killer deals that they're putting out. So check them out, and when you check out on the website, use the code AirCandy and you'll get free turret stickers and free shipping.
Yes, and that free shipping becomes more and more valuable.
Shipping's getting stupid expensive.
It's getting more and more expensive.
So, and especially if you're buying a gun or two, that free shipping's going to actually save you a pretty good chunk. So,
yeah, I was over there. I had to get my air tank filled because I was low. But I was still eyeballing the same, what was that one?
The Crown. That's all you look at is the Crown.
No, not the Crown. Not the Crown this time. It was
you need a third,
the Russian
fourth
one.
Crown.
Yeah.
The Leishi 2?
Yeah, the semi-auto that folds in half.
That's a pretty incredible...
If you haven't gone to Utah Air Guns before, you should do it.
I will.
And it's kind of a nice thing to do, like if you're, just in town and... you want to shoot in a heated environment.
Yeah, they've got a sweet range. They've got a lot of guns that you can rent and shoot. And, yeah, really cool stuff.
It's surprising how accurate those air guns are.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
I've been in there one time, but on your advice, gentlemen, I'll be going there again.
Yeah.
Anyway, go check out Utah Air Guns and give them some love. Who else do we have? Black Ice Coatings? BlackIceCoatings.com? I am constantly talking about his stuff at my shop. I keep my Ruger Mark II with the 10-inch barrel, just kind of lives at the shop because he's Tefloned it inside and out. It's coyote and black, and it looks awesome, and it's buttery smooth even though it hasn't been cleaned forever.
Yeah, you know which one I want to get coated is that, the gun that I always say that I shoot the most out of anything?
Yeah.
That 300 blackout break action.
Oh, yeah.
The CVA.
Yeah. The single shot.
Yeah, because that one is just blued. The one I have is blued, not stainless. And I just want to help preserve it a little bit better. So maybe Teflon coat the metal parts.
Oh, for sure.
And then get fancy with the stock. It's just got a plain plastic stock.
Get it hydro dipped?
Get it dipped and
you should
put a cool pattern on there.
You should.
So
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, call them up over at Black Ice Coatings and tell them you want it slickery.
All right.
We won't get you anything, but it's fun to say.
And magholder.com.
Yep.
Best horizontal mag carriers.
And the double stack 10 millimeter and 45s are available.
They are available on the website?
They are. I have them on my website. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if they're on my website. They're in my shop. I have one for my XDM.
You need to get those listed.
But yeah. So go check out Mag Holder. Best horizontal mag carriers out there. Super comfy for everyday carry. Use the code Get in the Van. I have candy. This is where all the candy codes started. It was with Mag Holder. And you'll save like over 20%, I think. So go check them out. And then Concealment Solutions at concealmentsolutions.com. I'm working on a lot of new stuff right now. I have new product in testing, we'll say.
All right.
To work out the kinks, refine them a little bit before they hit the market. But I'm always working on new stuff. And if you're on the website and you can't see what you're looking for, shoot me an email, call me, whatever works best for you, and let me know what you're looking for. Chances are I can make it. And at checkout, use the code SHOWMETHECANDY, and you'll save 15% off your order. Okay.
All right.
That being said,
let's dive into our news article.
All right. And now, the news.
A Northern Virginia homeowner shot a man dead who followed him into his residence while holding a large landscaping rock after an outdoor scuffle Wednesday night. And police told WTTG TV they believe the fatal shooting was done in self-defense. Fairfax County Police said the fatal shooting in Oakton was preceded by an interaction between the homeowner and another man, which turned into a scuffle outside the house, the station said. With that, police told WTTG the homeowner went inside and got a gun. However, the other man entered the residence as well with what police described as a large landscaping rock.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
If he'd stayed out on the sidewalk with his landscaping rock, we'd have a different story.
Yes. Police said the homeowner shot and killed the intruder before calling 911, which, if you can call 911, that's good to do. But your life comes first.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cops tweeted around 6:50 p.m. I find that interesting that the cops were tweeting about it.
Do you guys
tweet?
Never such a thing.
Maybe his radio was broken, so he had to tweet.
Like, hey, I'm on Twitter. Hey,
It's unsafe to be fiddling with our phones during duty. We don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I don't teach that.
I wonder if that police location has like a, what do you call it, the people who interface with the public.
Probably. Or
what do you call those?
Those are yeah. Every police department has it.
yeah.
It's there's a media relations.
Media relations. That's what I was.
There you go.
That's what I was thinking. So the cops tweeted around 6:50 p.m. that officers were on the scene in the whatever block of Waples Mill Road. The station said. Responding officers found a man dead at the scene. Investigators told the station there's nothing indicating that the pair knew each other, but they aren't sure what sparked the whole thing. There's lots of things that it could be.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Yeah.
Somebody wanting somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
Etc.
There are places like that in Fairfax County.
Yeah.
Sure.
In fact, police told the news they're still trying to ascertain the identity of the home intruder, describing him at one point as a young adult.
Huh.
Hopefully, when we can positively identify this individual, we can maybe start putting some puzzle pieces together as far as why was he in this area? Why was he at this home?
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, anyways, it said that the homeowner was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And the station added that there is no ongoing threat to the community because that threat was taken care of.
Right.
Huh.
Sounds like it was appropriate for the situation.
I wonder if maybe he's a homeless guy or something.
It's so chaotic now. It could be so many different things. Drugs.
Interesting.
Somebody who just...
Well, and the story would have been very different had the guy not entered the house. If he had just stayed outside with his landscaping rock,
then
the homeowner, and if the homeowner came out with his gun at that point, you would have had a completely different scenario. And you feel free to chime in.
No, I think you're pretty on par with saying that. I don't know what the laws are out in
Fairfax, Virginia.
I would say they're probably pretty conservative.
Yeah,
it's a conservative state.
Yeah.
So I would say that based on that situation, he did exactly what was appropriate.
Yeah.
And like you said, if a threat has to present itself, and if he was out on the sidewalk, different story. If he would have came out, engaged him there, we could have some problems.
Yeah.
But I think this homeowner did the right thing. Again, we don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened?
It could have been a drug deal gone bad. It could have been a lot of different things. But interesting story.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that the homeowner was able to get inside of his house to retrieve the gun.
Yeah.
He didn't have the gun
instead of having it on him.
So
and I hear people all the time that, I carry every day when I get home. I put it in the safe and da-da-da-da. And it's like, well,
it's ridiculous.
Why do you do that? It needs to be readily accessible.
I tell people, if I could just piggyback off of that, I tell people all the time, where do you need your gun most of all? At your castle.
Yeah.
You do. And Taco, I like what you're doing here. This is perfect. I feel right at home.
These are just the ones we're going to talk about. The others are.
But one should be ready. This is your castle. You never know what could happen, what could come through here, what threats may prevail. So yes, you should always be ready with your firearm inside your house.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we jump into what we did with guns?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start, John? What'd you do with guns recently?
What did I do with guns recently?
Oh
my goodness.
Any training?
Yes. Recently I trained some folks, just some basic concealed carry stuff, basic marksmanship, fundamentals of shooting, stuff like that. I have regular clients that I teach off the job, and it went rather well. Our training is pretty advanced and pretty forthright. We have some older clients in their 80s that I've been training for a little while, and they shoot rather well.
Nice.
So our methods are
in their 80s.
Yes.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and it's something to think about. It's like, wow, this poor individual. We kind of have to tailor everything to them.
Yeah.
And they're amazing people, and to be able to get that type of results out of somebody like that, it's pretty profound.
So I'm curious, what do they shoot? What guns do they shoot?
They're shooting 9mm. They shoot. They have a couple different guns. They have a Glock 17. They have a Beretta 92FS, which is, that's not my recommendation for them.
Right.
I don't like it when they use it, but they're the client. If that's what they want to use, they're more than happy to train them.
Was he in the military at all? Did he have a connection with that?
He was in the military in his youth.
That's why.
Prior.
But no, back in his day, they didn't have Berettas back in his day.
Oh, I guess not. They would have had the 1911.
Believe it or not, he was a doctor in the military.
Okay.
Back in the day. He's in his, I want to say he's probably 84, 85 years old.
Okay.
But he gets around, and he's a retired doctor. He retired last year, but the Beretta is definitely not for him.
Yeah. A little harder to shoot consistently harder. when you have a different trigger pull from the first one to the
manipulations, and it's just harder. So thankfully his wife is changing his mind, and she uses I recommended for her to get a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, which she shoots very well.
Nice.
She loves the gun. She manipulates it quite well.
Good.
And she's got a smaller 380. I believe it's the Colt Pony.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a big fan of that gun, but she favors the Smith & Wesson 9mm or the M&P
shield.
9mm shield.
Yeah.
So
and it's the regular shield, not the Easy 9.
No, it's the regular shield.
Okay.
So she wants him to get one as well, and I think she pretty much changes his mind, and we'll be training with that. In the future.
Well, cool. I'm always curious what people choose to carry and to shoot, and like you said, there's, depending on your age and your physical ability and your size and things like that, it can make a big difference to have the right equipment.
Oh, your equipment means everything.
Yeah, and the equipment's going to change based on all of that.
It will. And most of the time, people don't know what to get.
No.
Yeah.
They'll show up with all these huge shotguns and all this stuff that's not ergonomic.
Yeah.
I'm like, you probably should have consulted me before you.
Yeah. I've been thinking, I love to teach, and I've done classes for the Girl and the Gun and a Gun groups on how to pick your first concealed carry firearm and holsters and how to carry and stuff like that. And I'm thinking of adding classes like that on my website to where people can put their own group together or whatever and come have a class on how to do all those things. Because in Utah especially, it surprises me as how widely accepted the Utah concealed carry permit is, because it's one of the easiest ones to get.
It's just like a 4-hour class.
It's a 4-hour class.
No,
you don't shoot. But a lot of people come out of that class thinking, well, I'm trained now. And it's like, no, you're educated a little bit. You're a little bit educated,
yeah.
and that's as far as it goes.
4 hours better than before.
It's amazing how many misnomers people actually believe. And when you tell them, they look at you like, that can't be right.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't take it from us. We don't know anything.
Right. But I'd like to and a lot of the people come out of that class going, well, great, I know. They come out more intimidated to carry than empowered.
Yes.
And so I'd like to offer a class that gives them more education and the opportunity to put their hands on different firearms, even if they're not real firearms, if they're the blue gun, just getting something that fits your hand is critical.
Sure.
And then going through different holsters and helping them pick something that's going to work with their body type and how they dress and
ergonomics
and
are
all that
huge.
kind of stuff. Yeah. But
speaking of classes, my organization, we want to take you and Taco and your guys and do a special class just for you.
Cool.
That'd be cool.
We'll do that.
I was gonna say, I had just last night this older guy who was talking to me, and he said, I used to be in the military. I used to do all these things. I was a sharpshooter and all this stuff. He said, where should I go? Because I haven't shot in like 30 years.
Wow.
And where should I start? And
as far when he's asking where should I go, like
to learn how to shoot again, all
okay.
that, like et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm thinking I should probably get my concealed carry permit. I said that's probably a good place to start. Take the class so you just learn some of the laws. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, and probably go shooting with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then take a class.
Yeah. And there are so many firearms trainers out there now, which is great.
There are.
But you never know what you're going to get either.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been around like military and law enforcement people that have extensive experience there that are trainers, and they're lousy trainers. Just because you have that experience doesn't mean you are a good teacher.
I agree.
And I've been around other people that don't have any of that experience, but they're total students of the gun, and they're great instructors. Mm-hmm. And so just because somebody has a background doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get good training from them.
Yeah.
But I would say the best thing is to ask around and get a recommendation from somebody that's, hey, I trained with this guy, or I know this person, or whatever. That's probably the best place to start, and then go from there.
There are some very reputable schools around the country, and I'll name one because I'm a school of them, is Gunsight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Cooper. I've talked about Jeff Cooper. That's where all my teaching and
that one's kind of a no-brainer.
But people never talk about Jeff Cooper.
Yeah.
And like, who's Jeff Cooper?
Yeah.
What? You should have a tapestry of him over your fireplace. next to Wild Bill Hickok and Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
He's one of those icons that should go there. You know what I mean?
John Moses Browning.
Yes.
Yes, him too. I agree.
Yeah.
So, that's huge. And what school they came from, that's a huge thing as well. Mm-hmm. But there are some reputable schools, starting with Gunsight. That's the major one, in my professional opinion, in all my years. And another fairly decent one is Front Sight.
Yeah.
It's fairly decent.
So, on Front Sight, I have customers that were in my shop over the weekend that are they go regularly down to Front Sight. And they're going, actually they're there right now, and one of them made the comment, they're like, probably be the last time we're there as Front Sight.
That's terrible.
Because it sounds like they're being bought out. Which
Really?
Which could actually be a good thing.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of weird stuff that comes and goes with Front Sight. It's a fantastic facility and they've got good trainers, but the one thing that I'm concerned about is all the people that bought the super cheap, platinum memberships that get you into everything for free. Those are probably all going to go away.
They are going to go away.
And it'll be like, here's the new thing. But it might be an opportunity for somebody new to come in and revamp the program and...
Do you know who's buying them?
Improve it. I don't. And this is, like I said, I just heard it from somebody who's going there, and that goes there a lot. So it might be good information, it might not. Yeah. But anyway, the one thing that I usually get from people when we talk about training is that makes them pull away from it is the cost. And the best way that I can put it is, and you tell me, but it seems like the average price for a course, whether it's multi-day or 1 or 2 days or whatever, seems to be in the $400 to $600 range, and I know they can go higher, and they definitely can go lower. And people look at that and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And then the ammo on top of it. But they'll tell you about the last 6 guns they bought in the last few months.
Right.
And it's like, rather than buying another gun right now, put that money aside and put it into training, because it'll be way better money spent.
Right. But unfortunately, one of the misnomers is, and I hear this all the time, people go to the internet. They reflect on the internet. Since they've watched 100 YouTube
that's their training.
Videos, that's their training. And you know what? That is one very small point to training. That is one point to training. But that's not a significant, margin to be a good shooter by any means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You can watch Colin Neor all day do all those cool things, but you're just watching. You can't get up there and do the same thing Colin's doing, or some of these other professionals. So the YouTube can only go so far.
Well, and that kind of stuff I think can be really valuable in giving you some direction, because here in Utah we're really blessed with a lot of public land, and so we're not dependent on going to a closed range where you can't draw from the holster and you can't move and shoot, and where you're very limited. So we can go out, we can set up our own shooting gallery or whatever, and we can move and shoot and do all those things. So watching some YouTube videos and going, okay, next time we go out, let's do this drill, or let's do it this way.
Sure.
And so I think there's definitely some value there, but not if you're just watching.
But that's where where these self-made people come from. Or these self-proclaimed people, they watch all these videos. They watch John Wick 500 times. And now they're just as good as him. They do all these cool things.
Yeah.
So these are misnomers that I dispel constantly.
Yeah. For sure.
It's kind of entertaining, actually.
So what'd you do with guns, Jason?
Me? So I actually I made a trade last week with our, the Han Solo 300 Blackout pistols that we built, little bolt action pistols, which were cool and fun, but at the same time I was like, never going to shoot this very much. It's just not, it's not a practical firearm for most people. And so I put it up on the local classified gun exchange, and it was on there. I think they give you like a month or 2 months before the ad just expires. Literally the day before it expired, I got a text from somebody, "Hey, you want to trade?" And I was like, it's not doing me any good sitting here. So I traded an impractical firearm for for a crossbow.
Hey, that's not a bad deal.
No, I was like, I may not shoot this any more than I did that pistol, but it's different and it's cool, and so we'll see. So I have a Barnett crossbow I need to get some arrows for. I came with some broadheads and some decocking arrows, but I got to get some regular arrows.
I wonder if there's a way to set that up for carp fishing.
Oh, with a reel?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because that'd be fun with a red dot and a crossbow.
Yeah, it does have a red dot on it already.
Yeah, shooting those carp.
Huh, that would be
that could be a potential use for it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Other than that, I picked up a rock tumbler for $20, and I've been using it to clean brass. It does very small batches, but
they come out nice and shiny.
They do. And I've got the stainless steel pins that I put in it, and I've done a bunch of 357 mag. I did a bunch of 45 long Colt.
Mm-hmm.
I did a big batch of 9mm, and I've got more 9mm in it right now too. So
nice. The one caveat with those using the stainless pins, I'll just say for the listeners, you want to just double check to make sure that there's no pins that get stuck in the brass,
right,
as well as in the primer pockets,
right.
So sometimes those straight pins will do that, and that could really damage a barrel, having steel flinging around at
bouncing down your
speeds
barrel
of a bullet. You know, dinging up your barrel as it goes down. So just, when you're doing your quality control on your brass, shine a flashlight in it, put it in a reloading tray, something. Look inside, just get a visual, make sure that there's no pins in there left.
Yep. Anyway, that's about all I've done. I've been cranking out holsters like crazy for stuff.
All right. I've been busy too, but doing all kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
I just wanted to show you guys this fancy gun right here. Officer John's eyes just got really big. I think he might have vomited a little bit. This is the Super High Point. Okay. And this, before High Point released a version of their gun with a threaded barrel, then I had mine threaded. And so the upgrade to this gun is...
Because that gun doesn't have enough upgrades on it yet.
So I added a 3-lug or tri-lug suppressor adapter. So you can put a suppressor on this in a second or half a second or whatever.
I like it.
And so quick attach, quick detach suppressor adapter for, because, so here's what makes it unique and able to actually do this, because you couldn't put this on your Glock and have it work, right? Because the High Point has a fixed barrel design, and it's a straight blowback. And so because of that, it acts like, one of the pistol caliber carbines. And so I put the same adapter on my pistol caliber carbines, and I can put this suppressor on the High Point or the 9mm AR or the AKV or whatever in half a second. So anyways,
a must-have if you're a
must-have if you are.
That's really impressive.
Yeah,
I like it.
Anyways,
so I'm curious.
Thank you.
Do you experience in your job, John? Do you come across a lot of high points in the crime that you're dealing with?
I have come across quite a few. Nothing recent. Most of the firearms we come across are the 80% or the polymer 80s.
Oh, really?
So that's
ton of them.
Those have kind of overtaken the Saturday night special.
I haven't
High
seen
Points.
one of these for a minute.
Ooh, really?
A guy came out with this one time, and that was a close call. But he didn't. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And he ended up going quietly, but he had kidnapped some. Thank you, sir. He had kidnapped some young girl, and he ended up giving up.
Nice.
I was gonna say I do have a second High Point that, as I was modding this one, I needed spare parts, and it was just faster and cheaper to buy another one. But my other one, it was a special one. It came in with a case number attached. So it was one of those police auctions that
cool.
That one of the local gun shops, gunnies, they always come up with some
And earlier
stuff.
you were talking about buying another High Point.
Yeah.
Do you have the High Point rifle by chance?
I do, a 10mm.
Is that sounds pretty cool.
I have
until recently.
I put it in this little chassis, whatever.
That costs more than the gun.
It makes it look like some kind of space gun.
Okay.
So if we ever go shooting, I could bring out some weird crap.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably stuff you've never seen or
That
shot.
sounds good to me. I'd appreciate that.
But
anyway, continue.
all right, so then I finished a build, and this one was also thanks to some good prices and some special hookups from Gunnies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I started out, I bought this, it's a CMMG barrel and bolt kit, and they have, so most of the pistol caliber carbines use just a blowback design. This one has like a rotating locking bolt that it's a kind of a delayed locking blowback. And so it's pretty interesting. So
And what advantage does that give you?
it's a slower release of the bolt, so you don't have to have, so the recoil is less, and you don't have to have quite as heavy of a buffer, I believe.
Okay.
So
I gotcha.
Yeah, with 10 millimeter, having just a straight blowback is
okay.
is
So
pretty,
that's
pretty
in
crazy.
10 millimeters.
This is this is 10
I don't
millimeter.
think you said that.
Sorry.
Now I understand.
And then after I bought the barrel and bolt, then I realized that I needed a special lower because my 45 ACP blowback lower wasn't going to work. I don't know. They come with an ejector built into the receiver. You can usually remove those, undo a screw, and pull those out. But since this uses the AR style locking bolt with an extractor built into it,
right,
then you don't need that, and it would actually hit the BCG. So, anyways, cool. I finished this little.
How long's the barrel?
8.
Looks like
yeah. So, and I put a little Hollow Sun 512 on it.
Nice.
So that one's kind of a cool build. I haven't shot it yet. I have a tuning kit for the BCG, and that allows for you to adjust the weight of the BCG. So it has different size of weights. Right now it has the heaviest weight, and then I have like a carbine buffer, but I also have like an H2 buffer I could throw in if I needed to. But
it's beautiful.
Yeah, just got to tune it for what kind of loads I'm going to use.
Very nice.
That kind of bronze looking lower. That's nice.
I picked up a new handgun. This one was kind of a funny one. This is not what you would typically just tell people to buy or even buy yourself. But I was at Gunny's again. It's the curse of the local gun shop that has lots of cool stuff, right?
They've got deep inventory.
Yeah, they do.
Everything.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So I was just talking to some of the salesmen. And I said, I keep getting that stupid 380 brass in my 9mm brass. It just mixes in. And I had sold my 380. It was the LCP.
Yeah.
Hated that gun.
Yeah.
But it was nice to throw in a pocket, right?
Yeah.
But I said, I am looking for maybe a 380 just so I can shoot that stupid brass that keeps getting in my brass bucket, and something that's inexpensive, and I don't need it for carry, right? I'm not going to carry a 380. I like carrying 9, so I don't mind if it's a fatty gun. And so I looked at all the different 380s they had, and the Bursa, it actually has like a pretty decent trigger. I was surprised by that.
Ooh, it's the Combat Plus.
One of my clients has one.
This Bursa, so I didn't know this, but they have some models with single stack mags, and then this one has a double stack. So it'll help me get rid of that brass faster, with that double stack mag. So anyways, I've heard that they're pretty decent guns. Not great, but decent.
So interesting. The first gun, I think it was the first gun I got, was a Bursa Thunder 380, the single stack. So just like that. And on the 7th round I fired on it, the trigger went limp.
Thank you.
Oh, really?
Yep. The trigger just disconnected completely, dead. Sent it back to them.
They fix it?
They fixed it. They didn't tell me what was wrong or what they did to it, and then I sold it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, 7 rounds and I had a failure. I don't think I'm going to trust this gun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago.
Yep. So I also picked up a couple molds at NOE. I got
you didn't have enough.
Because I didn't have enough. So I picked up one of the 200 grain. This one will be for like 45 Colt, although you can use it for 45 ACP if you have one that can shoot semi-wad cutters. But I got one in steel so that I can do some zinc casting with it, and it's kind of, it'd be a cool zinc bullet.
Yeah.
So if it's 200 grain, 60% of the weight, that'd be, I don't know, 130-ish or something. That's just math in my head, so it could be way off. But zinc bullets are usually 60% of the weight of a lead bullet.
Right.
So, and then I picked up a 5 cavity for casting lead, so I could crank them out faster. I'll probably run both of them at the same time when I'm, casting for quantity of lead. I did some 357 mag loading and some 40 cal. I was getting some more ammo loaded for that Beretta PX4.
Oh, yeah.
40 cal. So. Anyways, and I built an AR-10, a 16-inch AR-10.
Okay.
And So that's what I did, but I don't want to take up any
Is
more.
that what that is right there?
I just don't want to take up too much time so that we miss our time on our topic. But
yeah.
It's a Aero precision build.
Nice.
And I put a Lancer carbon fiber stock on it.
It's a fixed stock too,
Fixed
right?
stock, yeah. It uses the A2
Nice.
Buffer and buffer spring.
It's good
buffer
looking.
tube. So this one, I don't know. I figured something that's a little bit more portable if you want to hit stuff hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very cool.
It will.
So Officer John's going to handle the listener feedback. If you wanna
okay.
Go straight from the top. Kevin C. wrote in.
Kevin C says, "Great to hear Stan on today."
Referring to the
me-
last podcast.
Oh yeah.
We had Stan on.
That's right.
Which reminds me, how is Carl doing? Still fighting after effects of his COVID battle.
He's back up and running. He's working full time and all that kind of stuff, but he is still dealing with the effects.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know if we've told you, but was a major part of the podcast. Got COVID to the point where
It almost killed him.
he was pretty much the nurses. Everybody wrote him off. He was on a respirator. They had him face down. They had him. Oh, yeah. He was all but gone and came back.
How's he doing?
He's like I said, he's back working full time and everything,
Thank
but
God.
he's still his lungs are not 100% yet.
Yeah, his lungs took a big hit.
Yeah,
Thank God he's okay.
but yeah. It's really a miracle story. But I'm trying to get Carl to come down here to record with us soon.
Yeah.
But he lives literally like almost 2 hours away
He
now.
moved over to
Egypt.
Yeah.
He's out in the freaking nowhere. But anyway, it was great to have Stan on.
Yep.
Okay, next, Troy W.
Okay.
He says, "You can count me in for cheering along on the show opener."
That's in reference to when we recorded with the Girl in a Gun people.
Yeah.
And what was his name?
John.
John, the other John. Yeah, he he thought we were pulling his leg or something when we told him, okay, after we do the intro, you got to cheer. He's like, what?
He's like, wait, I'm not gonna be like the only one doing this, right? You're not all gonna be quiet and I'm gonna be the only dork screaming. Like, now that you think of it, we might have to try that one of these times.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Keep going with
Troy W. also said, "Thank you for all your hard work so all four of us listeners can have the free podcast."
He has been listening for a long time.
Yeah, all four.
He says, "P.S. I know this email is a show behind."
Huh.
All right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So, we got John back on after he was on initially, and he told us a whole bunch of awesome stories and everything. We got a little bit of feedback based on one of the stories where
Zach A. wrote in.
And where somebody who legally owned this polymer 80 used it in self-defense, and then
By shooting his son,
shooting
who
his
was
son.
like hopped up on drugs, right?
right,
Correct.
and
Who was gonna stab him and
He already stabbed him.
he already stabbed him.
And
but he
his-
was gonna stab it
and
with
his mother or something
or
like
grandma.
that.
Or,
We were very surprised that actually didn't happen. The situation could have panned out a lot worse than
yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, toward the end of the story, and like most situations like that where a firearm is used, even if it's used properly in self-defense, when the police come in, the gun gets taken into evidence and things like that.
Right, until the investigation's over, and then they'll make the determination whether to release that firearm, which if he did own it illegally, he would get it back.
Right.
By all means.
And I think, I don't remember who's the person who wrote in?
Zach A.
Zach A. made the comment, or was concerned because you'd made the comment that, yeah, he's never getting that gun back. And I think, so we're bringing you on to clarify. Obviously, you gave us a very small part of the story without much background. And we've tried to explain that also when we originally got this comment that, we're seeing a very small picture of what's going on.
It is.
So anyway, why don't you...
You want to read this first? Zach A. comments, so in the last story, John shows up and this guy drops his magazine and pulls the slide back to show it's unloaded and puts it down. Then he steps aside and complies. He doesn't want you to shoot his son. After the scene is over, you start questioning the dad where he obtained his legal firearm that he
there were air quotes
defended
there.
himself and his mother and baby with, and he refuses to tell you in brackets here his right and proper thing to do. Then John proceeds to try to find any reason to charge him with a crime. After John and the department take the legal firearm that is legally owned, now will not give the gun back even though there is no legal reason he cannot own the firearm even after the investigation is over. And he puts a question mark after that.
Yeah, because obviously the investigation wasn't over and you weren't even involved with that end of it, so...
Continuing, he says, in John's own words, the deranged son with the knives could have hurt both his grandmother and baby brother, and thankfully the legally armed father stopped him. Now the father has his gun confiscated permanently and was questioned by the police so they could attempt to incriminate him.
He's interjecting his own... Anyway.
It is no wonder why this family hates the police. Look how they were treated in self-defense. In a self-defense scenario, that even if the gun was illegally obtained, it saved lives, that he had it. Period. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? And due process. I most certainly do not agree with the quote-unquote police, defund the police movement. I truly think that criminals deserve harsher penalties for breaking the law, and I do think that there is a lot of good police out there, but this was a textbook example of bad policing.
and I believe I said this before, but in my opinion, this is a textbook case. This email or this comment is a textbook case of armchair quarterbacking, where you don't have all the information and you're jumping to conclusions. But the expert is here.
I have a lot to say, but I shouldn't say it. I like to start off with these types of things by saying there are a lot of misnomers and there are a lot of naysayers out there. I'll definitely say I don't know who Zach A. is. I'm not going to attack Zach A. because Zach A. has a right to say what he wants.
Right.
And that's completely fine. But I like to dispel misnomers and naysayers because this is a classic example of naysayers who don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
In his comment, he talks about this being a classic textbook example of bad policing. Mm-hmm. What does Zach A. know about how the police should police? That's what I want to know. Has Zach A. been through a police academy? Mm-hmm. Does Zach A. know the law in other, I'm going to say blue states?
Right.
Here in the free country of Utah, God bless Utah, it is a polar opposite, different parallel universe than what's on the outside of these borders.
Right.
And I like to tell people that because they have no idea what's going on. We'll use, for example, California, Chicago, Detroit, New York.
New York.
Okay?
Yeah.
These are bad, bad, bad places, folks. Okay? We all want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I understand that. Whatever nice Andy Griffith neighborhood that Zach A. lives in, I will guarantee you it's not like that around the rest of the country.
Yeah.
The point here is that we do not want bad guys having guns. The whole idea of due process, that's always been in effect. And us police officers always abide by that Constitution. I am a constitutionalist. Mm-hmm. I'm not just the police. I'm a constitutionalist. And I respect people's rights because I have the same rights as everybody else does.
Right.
I've never once in my long career gone out of my way to violate anybody's rights. I never have, and I never will. The Constitution means everything to me and my brothers and sisters who enforce the law.
But there are some bad cops who are.
Well, let me tell you something, if I may. When people say bad cops, there is a difference between what is considered bad, like cops committing crimes, which rarely ever happen. There is a mistake of the heart and a mistake of the mind. There's a lot of training involved here. What people consider in these days as a bad cop is somebody who has not been trained very well. There are a lot of bad training out there throughout these police departments. Okay, to say that a cop is bad because he reflects on and he did something that didn't look good to the public, that's directly in regard to his training. A lot of these police departments, God bless them, they do not have the training some other metropolitan police departments do. And it never looks good. There's nothing, we could take the perfect police, an example of use of force, and you put it on camera, I can guarantee you the best one's going to look terrible and horrific.
Yeah.
a person in uniform fighting somebody or taking them into custody, it never looks good. And there will always be people who say, well, that looks excessive. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, when I look at something, reflecting back on situations I've been on, being there in that situation and then watching it on video are two separate things. It's like, wow, I didn't see that happen, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, and what comes to my mind while you're talking about this is you're in a situation where you're literally fighting for your life.
Yes.
On your job. And if I'm in that situation, yeah, I'm going to use excessive force because I want to end it as quickly as I can and keep myself safe.
And in order to overcome resistance, you have to go a step above. Yeah. And in those moments on video, it would appear that, oh, that cop's overstepping their bounds. And in truth, and in my heart in that moment, that is not what's happening. Yeah. I am overcoming resistance. And to overcome resistance doesn't look good all the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the ideas people have.
Yeah.
And I'd like to try to dispel some of them. But going back to Zach A. here, I can guarantee him right now that the investigation continued. Mm-hmm. I only had a small snippet to give you folks on that last episode.
Right. And you were unprepared for anything as well. You were talking off the cuff.
Which was good. Thank you for doing that to me, because that kind of keeps my mind sharp and motivated and moving, and I thank you for that, because I need to engage in more of that. It's good for my brain. Yeah. And I'm not getting any younger, so I don't want any Alzheimer's to kick in. So I appreciate that. I'm going to assure Zach A. right now that nothing we did that day violated this person's rights. I do want to advise Zach A. that we were dealing with some very bad people. These were not in any neighborhoods that he's experienced.
And it was an area and a family. These people are people that the police are dealing with regularly.
Yes, regularly. And these people have very bad intentions. I don't know what happened after that. The investigation continued, and detectives take over from there. I handled the situation at hand. We had to take that gun into custody because it's part of an official investigation. And I don't know what occurred after that. I didn't have a chance to look into the aftermath, but I can guarantee to you that if they didn't find any, if he did legally own that firearm, I can guarantee you that he got that firearm back. But he's not going to get it back overnight. He may not get it back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months. Right. The investigation might take a few months. Yeah. And when I say not anytime soon, I'm a very impatient person. If he told me I couldn't shoot one of my guns for 3 months, to me that wouldn't be anytime soon. Right. Okay. Yeah. So when I made that comment, if I could clarify, he's not going to get that back anytime soon. Well, he may not have, but if they found that he was legally able to own that firearm and no other crimes were committed, then he's definitely going to get his firearm back. We don't steal things from people. We have a process, and that process is due process. Yeah. That individual, go ahead. The father was not booked into jail. Zach A. does not know the totality of the circumstances. I was there. I know what happened. These are not good people, and I can guarantee you that this father was indeed somehow involved in some criminal activity. Yeah. I think we can all agree in this room that people who are involved in drug sales and other criminal activity, you don't want them armed. Right. The fact that raised in my mind when I knew when he went out to his car to get that firearm, I know based on why he had that there, he was involved in some other criminal activity. Yeah. He was not carrying that gun legally.
Just based on his reputation and experience with this individual in the past.
The way he was in possession of that firearm was illegal. Okay. The way he was transporting it, the where he had it, he was carrying the gun illegally.
Based on the blue state that you
based on the blue state and the laws in those blue
states.
Whereas
here in Utah,
it's perfectly legal to do that.
Perfectly legal.
And I agree with those laws here. Yeah. And being that these laws are here, obviously this guy, if he were to operate under those laws, I'm sure perhaps something may have befallen him before the situation occurred. Yeah. And when everyone's carrying guns, It's a game changer, guys.
Yeah.
And it's for the best. And I agree with it. I'm a big two-way supporter.
Right.
I support this stuff. I don't believe just the cops should have guns. I believe in good citizens having guns.
Yeah.
Not people with bad intentions.
Right.
Okay, so I have something to just kind of get your take on. So,
Yes, sir.
Earlier I questioned you about like saying that there are some bad cops, and you said most of it comes down to like training, right? If they're heart or mind or something. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with like a case. It was in this single black mother in Philadelphia who had just gotten her concealed carry permit. This was like years ago, like 7 years ago. Shanine Allen, right? And so she had just gotten her concealed carry permit, and she had crossed the border into New Jersey, and she wasn't aware of the different laws of the states. And the cop who pulled her over, she's like, well, I have my concealed carry permit. And so he saw that, and he's like, oh, you're going to jail. And so instead of saying, hey, explaining, New Jersey has different laws, I'm going to give you a warning, he sent her straight to prison or jail.
Yeah.
And she was in there for a while until I think Tom Gresham did a big deal on, like, posted some, bought some billboards and everything, But and then they got her out. So as a gun owner, like me personally, I see that, and then I also see how, and I know this second thing has more to do with politicians, right? All these people who are going rampant crime sprees in California, in New York, like all those, all the crime that's just going crazy. And these people, if they get arrested, they get returned into public right away.
They get a slap on the wrist.
So my thought is that the officer who would do that to that lady, I think he's a bad dude. Something to do with like.
But at the same time, he was following the law to the T.
Yeah, but I think he's a bad dude, a bad cop. So
I understand where you're coming from.
Morally, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was in a position where he could do that. He could do, what would be arguably the right thing of explain, educate, and let her know and send her off. But instead, he's like...
It was pretty obvious
it's like,
she was not
you,
a threat.
You're going... Yeah, she's not a threat. She's not a criminal. Single mom with kids in the car, Yeah. So...
We have a term for those guys. They're not bad in the sense that they're committing crimes. When I hear the term bad cop, I'm thinking of people that are committing crimes, like pulling robberies, off duty, and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, Taco, and I agree with a certain element of that. And we know guys like this. I know guys like this who are in other departments who would absolutely book you and me for something. I can tell you horror story after horror story. I don't agree with those guys. I don't see eye to eye with them. But just like Jason said, it's against the law over there in Jersey, and he did it because he can. Here's my thing. As a police officer, I don't do things because I can. I do it because it's reasonable and necessary. In that situation, absolutely, I would have let that lady go, educated her. He shouldn't have done that. And you're right, it's a moral issue. But people like that occur.
And also, I mean, you can argue that there are so many laws that are unconstitutional.
Right.
Like, they go directly against the Constitution. And so, in that case, I would think that a law that is in direct conflict with the Constitution should not be enforced.
We have some Poindexters out there, okay, who take things way too seriously, and they do it because they can. Look at me. There's people who go into this occupation with a totally different mindset. I experience these people. Unfortunately, I cannot give you examples or say much of how I feel, but I'm on par. Taco, I'm on par with you, bro. Let me give you a fist bump here.
Fist bump.
But they're allowed to be that way, and they're not doing anything illegal. But again, morally, should he have done that? No, absolutely not. That's something you never do. The same thing. I don't give normal people I don't give good, honest, hardworking people tickets. I don't give tickets at all. I'll just tell you right now. but when I did, it would be if I worked here, it'd be like if I saw Jason speeding down the street, and I stopped Jason. Jason, hey man, how you doing, man? How's it going? Having a good day? Yeah. Can I see your driver's license registration? And Jason would be like, wait a minute, we're buddies. What are you doing? Well, you were speeding, man. I have to. You're breaking the law. I have to give you a ticket. Jason would be like, why would you do that to me, bro? Well, our friendship has nothing to do with this because you're speeding. And Jason will look at me and say, I cannot believe you're doing this. People take this to the extreme. They don't understand the letter of the law. There's something called the letter of the law, and then there is the spirit of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in most of these cases, if it's not a felony, now over in Jersey, is carrying a concealed weapon a felony?
I don't know.
Okay, if it is, police officers have no choice. I don't think it is. I think it's.
I think you have to see. The problem was reciprocity, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
New Jersey doesn't recognize other states.
I've heard horror stories for us.
Yeah.
I heard that if we go in there with because there's some hollow point issues, they outlaw hollow points.
Yeah.
I've heard horror stories from NYPD guys driving through Jersey. He gets pulled over by a trooper, and hey, bro, how's it going? Hey, yeah, I'm just trying to cut through here. I got to go over here. Okay, hey, you got your firearm on? Yeah, I do. I'm just making sure you don't have any hollow points. Who in their right mind would do that? Who cares?
Yeah.
But this is what we're dealing with. There are other situations, I won't give you exact, but there are other instances where I've known of other police officers who have responded to help calls for certain highway patrol, state troopers, and saved their rear end, and then the next day they're off duty, that same trooper/highway patrol officer pulls them over. That officer's a tiny bit tipsy, but not over the legal limit, and he books them for DUI. Did he really have to do that? The answer is no. We deal with these things.
I would say yes. A little bit tipsy.
We deal with these things. We deal with these things all the time.
Yeah.
Now, when I say a little bit tipsy, I mean there's a legal limit. There is a lot of those guys who specialize in the DUI stuff who would place you under DUI. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all to put somebody under DUI. You're putting them through hell in a handbasket for nothing. There's a lot of these things that occur at our professional level, and it's just the same kind of example. There's guys who really take this too far because they can.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
You do it because it's reasonable and necessary.
Yeah.
I don't agree with what that state trooper did, but unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't know. I differ on that point. I'm totally okay with police pulling over police with if they're driving under the influence.
Well, he
because at that point you can argue. So with the first one that we're talking about, with the lady, she's not a danger to anyone. Whereas if someone's driving under the influence, even if it's a little bit, they could potentially be a danger to someone. So I'd be like, ticket. But yeah, that's Taco's thoughts on that.
Well, and it's a situation of knowing
all the details.
Well, it's a totality of the circumstances.
Yeah.
And in all these realms, it's always it's critical to come from that standpoint because it's just not one thing. It's totality. And in order to make those determinations, you have to have all sides, not just one.
Yeah. And I think a lot of things that people don't understand when they're looking at, police stories, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, the cops that are, like you, that are dealing with these people, to some degree, you have a relationship with these career criminals. Right? You're around them constantly. You know them. You know what they've done in the past. You have a pretty good idea what they're involved with currently. And so when you get a call and you respond to, Joe Criminal's house, you're going in with some bias because you have a background of information that you're going into it on. You can't, and you would be foolish to go in blind and be like, well, I know he's done all this and that in the past, but I got to give him a clean slate, and maybe he's turned the corner, and let's go in and see how he's doing. It would be self-destructive to approach situations like that. And so, whether people want to say it's bad or not, you're going into a situation going, okay, I'm dealing with turd number 1, 2, and 3.
I love it.
And your behavior's going to be different.
I love your analogies, Jason. But one last thing I have to say, I don't know how much time we have left, is that, people who are first to cast first stone and say things about what police should be doing or should not be doing.
Yeah.
Hey, if you think you can do a better job, go apply, go through all the backgrounds, go to the police academy, and you put that uniform on and you do my job.
Yeah.
Let's see how well you do.
Yeah, you guys are making life-changing decisions in split seconds.
And I will guarantee you can't make everybody happy.
Oh no.
Because in the end, it's always our fault.
Right.
It is. It's always people are always blaming
Yeah.
us all the time. I can't win. I can't get away from it.
Yeah. And you know, when was the... It's kind of like, you know, if you own a restaurant, you're going to get, for every one person that says how great things were to their friends and family, whatever, you're going to get 20 that even if one little thing was wrong, they're going to talk about that. Right. And that's kind of the same situation that you guys are in, is very little acknowledgement of the good that you guys do, and any time they can be critical of something, they're all over it. And it's not fair.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, so here's a question on a lighter note. What is your favorite cop show?
Can it be a movie? Can it be a movie?
It can be a movie, yeah.
Say
It doesn't have to be a show. That's funny. I use that analogy all the time. I tell my students, I'm like, okay, you're holding that gun like T.J. Hooker would hold the finger on the trigger and up like this. No, it wasn't T.J. Hooker. So I really think Colors is one of my old-time favorite.
What is it?
Colors.
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
You probably have. You just don't remember.
Maybe.
And moreover, the newest one is End of Watch. End of Watch.
Oh, okay.
You see that one?
End of Watch.
That was.
And that's a movie, or?
It's a movie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, TV show. Got to pick a TV show. I know most of them are just horrible, but.
Well, I will say this: 1 Adam 12.
1 Adam.
I remember that's probably before your time.
You're picking like old stuff. I don't even know of any of these.
I remember that.
Do you remember the old show SWAT? I like that.
Oh yeah,
too.
SWAT.
Yeah, that
SWAT.
was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hawaii 5-0.
I watched that.
Oh my goodness.
The original, not the new one.
I was gonna say the new one is like
not the new one.
So fake, like over the. It's like over the top. Like Carly and I would watch that one when we were like just feeling real dumb or something, and you just want something dumb happen. I guess.
I don't watch that much of that kind of stuff, to be honest. But I was watching this years ago, the new Hawaii 5-0, and they one of the officers, she had done something great, and they were giving her a gift to acknowledge their gratitude for what she had done, and she opens this box and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. A Kiltech PF9." I was like,
"Do you hate her?"
Yeah, I was like, "Really?"
Oh, Longmire. You ever watch Longmire?
Oh, okay, that one is a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah, too. It's enjoyable. I don't know how realistic it is to carry a 1911 and a 30-30, but as your duty weapons, but
that's Wyoming.
They work.
It's Wyoming. It's kind of nostalgic.
Well, their Sun Department. Well, I can't comment. Never mind.
Okay, so there's a newer show out, and it's since you train a lot of rookies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this one, but the show is called The Rookie.
Yes.
Have you seen it? Do you like it?
My kids enjoy it. It's very Hollywoodish. It's very entertaining, but I will tell you the Hollywood factor is well over the top.
Too deep.
I've met some cast members on the show. A couple of buddies of mine actually are. They work on the set. It's a little too Hollywoodish for me.
Yeah.
Entertaining, but Hollywoodish.
Yeah, and I sometimes I wish the TV shows would get some better. What would you call them? Consultants.
Yes.
Firearms consultants.
Yes.
There's one lady in particular on that show. She holds the gun in the most funky way, and she's supposed to be this like super.
Well, I'll tell you this. I agree, but
but that could be true. True to life.
I will tell you this. The consultant on that show does a good job, but when the actors don't listen, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is when you see them holding the gun on somebody and their trigger fingers under the trigger guards, and the half of their hand is even on the grip. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So
yes.
I'm kind of showing how this lady on the show holds the gun, and it is
I've seen it.
Weirdest. Thumb is going straight down on like her right hand, strong hand, and then her supporting hand is all the way almost on the other side. Like instead of holding, the grip of the gun that's not covered, she's like wrapping all the way around. It looks so weird.
Having your thumb tucked under is actually not. It's actually one way that I have been trained. I don't do that because it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you shoot revolvers, and you should know this, you typically do tuck your thumbs so that you don't run the risk of getting it up near the cylinder where you get the...
Well, yeah, you just grab the grip and your thumb naturally goes where it's supposed to go.
Okay. Maybe,
but yeah,
maybe for
anyways,
you.
like sometimes I watch these cop shows and stuff, and you get these elite, detectives, and you're like, what? Or FBI agents, and they're doing the
crazy.
dumbest things. And
well,
yeah,
the feds aren't trained that well. The FLETC, they're not like high end. That's not like high end training. The feds, they spend most of their time behind a desk.
Yeah.
FLETC, I mean, they've got some good people there, but I wouldn't say that their training is as good as it should be.
Yeah.
That's why when we work with the feds, we pretty much separate and don't work tactics with them because it is a crazy mess.
Huh.
Really, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
On the TV shows, they always make it sound the opposite.
Like they're elite.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, somebody working on a SWAT team in a bigger city anywhere in this country is going to have more practical experience and better training and education from that experience than probably most of the Fed teams are, because you're exposed to it a lot more.
Yeah, just the experience that you're dealing with it day to day.
It's like book smarts and street smarts are two different things.
Yes, very much.
And what the book says you should do, I tell you what, it's completely different when you're operating in the field.
Yeah.
And a lot of those policies and things like that have to be kind of curtailed to... nothing works like the book says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
All right. I think we're out of time.
Yep. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks,
Glad
Officer John, for coming
Taco,
on. And
Jason.
Shedding some light on your previous episode with us. That was good. I appreciate it. Good talking.
Yeah. Till next time, stay safe, have fun.
Yeah. Take somebody shooting. Be nice to people. Good.
Yeah, it's just
you gotta
the
understand.
only facts that they have are the ones that you said.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a very abbreviated.
Of course it is, because we had to they kept this thing rolling.
Yeah.
I could only give snippets. they did a good job at keeping me going. I could only give the real time scenario as I see it. There's other perspectives and other things that occur in this whole process.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
I have no control over.